Welcome to the Stream Legends and welcome to the Friday of the week. Something like that, anyway. Legends, welcome. I hope that your week has gone well, and today we're gonna be finishing your working week off anyway with a little stream of study, focus and concentration. So I will be studying some Japanese today. I invite you to join me in that endeavor, whether you're going to be studying Japanese, something else, or of course just focusing and working. I hope that you would have a productive stream. Now, first things first, I have been having a headache from yesterday evening. I do not know if I can do the whole stream. It's a strain headache, so my eyes need to rest. And I've been trying to avoid the monitor all morning long, apart from a bit of Anki, an hour of Anki. So I am hoping that the headache is not going to get worse, but most likely chances are that I'm going to cut the stream short. I will aim to do the full stream, but yeah. So whatever the case is, we're going to do at least one session. All right. We'll see how it goes. But with that out of the way, if you're brand new here, here's what we do. We study for 55 minutes. We take a 5-minute break. On today's break, we're going to be doing some yoga. I invite you to join me in that. And then we are supposed to repeat that 4 times in a row. Usually we do. So with a total study of 3 hours and 40 minutes and the stream lasting for 4 hours. As I said today, I'm not sure if I'll be able to do that. Hopefully tomorrow is going to be a full stream, but again, I do get the headaches, and when I do, they do last quite a while, unfortunately, a number of days usually. So, with that out of the way, konnichiwa minasan. Rufi, welcome. Alex, konnichiwa. Alex and Rufi so far. welcome to the stream, everybody. So Miao Nantoka, I can't read the kanji. It's not even gonna try. My eye strain is too great. So OBS just has the chat very small for me. In the 30 days guide, the guy mentioned to watch 3 grammar videos each day and take notes. So it's not possible to do grammar in 20 minutes and take it easy. 休んでください。まあ。もう少し頑張りましょうね。もう少しね。So Rufi, yes. So 3 videos a day is actually very doable and depends on, because some videos are actually quite short, others are a bit longer. I would say watch just 1 video a day. That's what I have done. There is no need to watch so much. There is a lot covered in every video, and of course, for those of you not in the know, we're talking about Cure Dolly's grammar videos here. So 20 minutes a day should be more than doable. You should actually, in 20 minutes, you should be able to do around 2 videos, roughly. So, yeah. Right. There is something I meant to tell you, Rufi, but I can't remember. I assume you got my Discord messages, so Rufi was asking to, about a plan to study Japanese. And it's something related to that. Oh, yes. Yeah, so Rufi, I actually, before we start, I want to show you, I have shown you before how long I study, but actually I break down every day what I do, right? So, the way that you might say, well, you say one thing, you do another thing. Well, I do not. I actually say and do exactly the same thing. So remember, I was saying 1 part of actual studies and 5 parts of immersion. So I mean that. And let me show you, let me share this with you. So, right, this is what I wanted to show you. So this is day by day broken down what I have done. So already studied for 3 hours, 38 minutes today. But that's not what I want to show you. If you look here, vocab is basically my active study. and grammar is my active study. Everything else is passive. So as you can see, between walk up and grammar, I have an hour and a half of that to 10 hours of listening, basically, or 10 hours of immersion in the language. And you can actually see that every single day. It's the same. So walk up 1 hour and let's say 40 minutes to, again, 10 hours of immersion. The day before, again, walk up an hour and 20 minutes to 10 hours of immersion. So as you can see, this is what you should be doing. I do exactly the same thing I tell you to do. So try and concentrate on your active study when you do it, but do not overdo it, because that will lead you to burnout. Let me switch to this, and let me do. God damn it! There we go. It's working. Yeah. So basically, what I'm saying is, if you try to do too much active study, because in your plan that you have created, you said that you wanna do 5 hours a day, which is great if you can do it. But I think you had like 4 hours, if 3 hours or something like that, of active study. You will burn out in the first week of that. Like, I guarantee you, after a first week, you'll just be, I can't do this anymore. Like, I've studied Japanese enough. I'm good for the rest of my life. So yeah, try to keep it to under an hour tops, and everything else is comprehensible Japanese with 100% concentration. Reading Tadoku at your level, so level 0. Or there is actually like another thing, like complete beginners, I think, which is weird, but anyway. And then, of course, do your passive immersion, watch anime, etc., and try to catch the words that you have learned in Anki. Do more immersion, yes. Basically, you know, the way I was saying yesterday, read more, read more, read more. That's part of that. To begin with, I would say read about an hour, no more than that. And the rest spend on listening and watching Japanese, because that is the skill that you want to acquire first, for a simple reason that when we read, we sub-vocalize. And of course, like everybody does, you would tend to assign your way of saying things to things if you don't actually listen to enough language, to enough Japanese. So you got to get a lot of input in. And of course, you know, you have active studying, like pronunciation, pitch, accent, vocab, etc., grammar, that you'd be doing as well. That would be assisting with that. Anyway, legends, that's all I can do for you before we get started, because, again, I'm having a headache. So I'll try and read for the next, we'll see how long, for at least one session, and we'll reconvene here in that amount of time. Do grab yourself something to drink, of course. As always, hydration is important. I am drinking sencha today, so that's a green tea, for those of you not in the know. And yeah, I wish you the best of luck, and I'll talk to you all in 55 minutes time. Let's get it, let's go. Gambaro. もういいよ. Alright, legends. First session is done. I think I'm gonna go for the second session. So let's do some exercises and we'll chat right afterwards. Let's go. Alright, and that is done. Welcome everybody who has joined while we were studying. So Tente's and everybody else. Let's have a look. Ojesh, Anish, Neko, Togiz. Yeah, welcome one and all. Hope you're doing well. Well, yeah, Alex was saying, わかった、少し失敗してる。心配しなくてもいいよ。大丈夫よ。なんか、頭痛が悪くなって、まあ、やめるね。よし、Manish was asking just out of curiosity, or that is, Manish was... Anish is Manish, right. Just out of curiosity, don't you like playing different music? Yes. So, good question. I used to play music. I did find that it was distracting. Even just, you know, kind of chill out beats, etc. It can work, but usually it's too distracting and actually distracts you from concentrating, or me from concentrating. So I have looked into the research with that, and white noise is the best. So basically, kind of like rain, or if you do prefer music, something that is extremely repetitive. And yeah, basically something that would just drone in the background. But yeah, I do find that rain is just better. Actually, if it was up to me, I'd cut out the rain completely. And just study in quietness. But I suppose, you know, it's not that great. So in terms of people joining in, etc. So yeah, that's why I don't listen to music. Rufi is saying grind never stops even when sick. You're an absolute legend. Well, you know, there are certain things you would still need to do during the day. So, that I would do even when I'm sick. But I would definitely do less. For example, today I would probably cut the stream short after this session that just started, just because, of the headache. That's all. But anyway, Rice Spice, welcome to the stream. I hope you're doing well. So we have just literally started the session. So we do 55 minutes of study and 5 minutes of a break. So yeah, Legends talking off, Moio. I wish you all the best of luck. And I shall speak to you on the other side. Moskoshi gambarimacho. Let's go. もういいよ. Alright, legends. Our second session is done. So let me switch to this bomb. 1 sec. Voila, we have the light. Legends, I think this is gonna be my last session. I'm still having a headache, and yeah, while it's not getting too much worse, it's a little bit worse than before, and I don't want to get worse and not be able to stream tomorrow. So we are gonna call it a day here. However, we're gonna answer some questions before I go. I don't know why, but I'm taking an hour to finish Anki. If I don't know the word or kanji, I write it down and its meaning. I think I am Dumbo. You are not, Rufi. So, right, let me talk about that. Also, Team Z, thank you so much for the follow. I really do appreciate it. All right. Rizwan was asking a question as well. Rizwan, if you're still there, man, give me a shout. And Rizwan wanted to take a few days off, and they were asking if it's okay to take a few days off rest from study. So, of course, it's a little bit more complicated than yes and no, or no. So, Rizwan, if you're still there, give me a shout, and I'll address that. But first, while we're waiting for Rizwan, Rufi is saying that it takes an hour to do Anki. Rufi, how many words, how many reviews, how many cards do you have right now in Anki? Answer me this, please. And I'm gonna switch off the script because this is the last sesh. Boink. There we go. All right, so Rizwan is here. All right. While we're waiting for Rufi, we'll switch to Rizwan. How about that? We'll jump from person to person. So, Rizwan, all right. So there are a couple of reasons it might be a good idea to take a couple of days off of studies. There are some good reasons and there are some bad reasons. So, first of all, if you feel like you're burning out and think that a couple of days off will solve that, unfortunately, that would not be the case. I mean, they will, but only temporarily. And you'll soon burn out right after. So you need to address first why you want to take some days off. If life is getting really, really busy, that's one reason. But if you feel like it's getting too much, you need to address why it feels like it's getting too much. So usually, not gonna lie, it is because there are things that you do in your study routine that starts feeling like it's too overwhelming and it's too much. The usual culprit here is Anki. It happened to me many times. Anish is saying, I wish I was learning the same language as you. Learning languages is very, very similar, man. Doesn't matter what language you're learning. So all the advice that I give, usually most of the advice I give, would be applicable to any other language. But let's get back to taking time off from learning. So yeah, usually it's because of Anki. If you do Anki, and you feel like it takes too much time, you feel like every single card you get wrong is a statement about your mental abilities, that is something that you need to look at, and the mentality that you need to change. So what happens is when you do Anki, you will fail cards. It is inevitable. That's just the way Anki is set up. It makes sure that you will get some cards correct and some cards not correct. So, for example, by default, it's set up to have a 90% retention. So 90% retention means that if you have 100 cards, it is set up by default for you to fail 10 of those cards. Right? Of course, it's not perfect. Meaning that you would usually fail a few more cards than that. Sometimes 20. Sometimes a few less, maybe just 5. It will vary from day to day. It would depend on how much rest you get. Did you get a good sleep? Are you ill? And things like that. So this is specifically to do with Anki. So you need to approach Anki with a point of you will fail cards, and it doesn't matter if you do. That is all part of you remembering the words. Try, if it is Anki again, try to do Anki not sitting down and doing Anki, but in between things that you do. You have a break at work, a lunch break, something like that. Sit down and do a bit of Anki. You need to go to the bathroom. Instead of pulling out the phone and doom scrolling, or instead of, playing a game, take out and do 5-10 cards in Anki. Try to reduce your Anki time as much as you can as well. So there are stats that you can look in Anki when you do it, and it will say how much time you spend on every word. And actually that sort of applies to what Rufi was saying as well. Now, ideally, you want to reduce that number as much as possible. So it should be between 4 seconds and let's say 15 seconds. Let's say 5 and 15 seconds. 15 seconds is like max you want to be spending per word. And going below 4, it probably means that you're not thinking hard enough about a word. So my stats, for example, it will change from day to day, but today my stats are 7.11 seconds per card, which is, I think, a decent time to spend on the card. On a hard, and that's primarily hard cards, right? Easy cards, I do them within, like, just glancing at the card. So all of that would reduce the time you spend on Anki and, of course, make it easier for you. Now, Rizwan, do stop me if you think that this is not applicable to you. Let me know, because this is the biggest reason why a lot of people burn out. Try and think of it as going to the gym and doing your reps. Don't think of it as I must learn these words. Think of it as if you're going to the gym and doing your reps, you're not doing reps because every rep has to be perfect and every rep increases your muscle by 1 centimeter, right? No, you're going to the gym because you know it builds up strength and every rep gets you closer to your goal. You're basically doing reviews for your muscles, right? So very similar for Anki. Think of it as just going through the motions, going and reminding your brain about these words. Not learning the words, but reminding your brain about these words. And how you learn them is by listening and reading and trying to notice the words that you have learned. This is how your brain would actually learn the words. So that's Anki. Whether it is good to take a couple of days off, it is as well, as long as you understand what has caused you to take that break. You think you're not used to studying for straight hours yet? That is totally fine, man. That is a skill that you will build up very slowly. So I have said it on this stream before, and I will say it again. I have started with only 5 minutes a day. And what I have done, personally, this is literally what I have done. I've started with 5 minutes a day, and every week I would double the amount of time I study. So the first week it was 5 minutes, the second week it was 10, then 20, then actually I stopped doubling it, I went to half an hour. I think then I went to 45 minutes and then to an hour a week later. The point is, you're slowly building up, and you're not really concentrating on learn. I gotta be as fast as possible. You're concentrating on building the habit, and you're concentrating on your brain getting used to sitting down and doing this little bit by bit. All right? Now, if you're burning out, again, go back and address why you're burning out. What has worked for you? What hasn't worked for you? How can you change it so it will work for you in the future? It's okay to take a few days off if you address that. If you do not address it, what will happen is you will take a few days off and you'd be like, okay, I'm going to try again. You'll see that the Anki has piled up, right? If you're doing Anki, you have to do it every day. Otherwise, the reviews will just skyrocket. And you'd be like, nope. And you will quit for good, right? Because that's the biggest issue with Anki, is that you have to do it every day. It's good in a way, but if you approach it in the wrong way, it starts piling up this like a big dark cloud that hangs over your head all the time and just makes you depressed. Because it's like, oh, I gotta do this. I don't really want to do this, but I gotta do this. It's gonna take forever. Oh my God, I'm gonna feel bad. And you actually feel bad all day long. That's what used to happen to me. And at midnight, I'm in bed, I'm like, I gotta go to sleep. And I look at Anki and it hasn't been done yet, and I have 200 reviews. And I spend the next hour until 1 o'clock in the morning doing the freaking reviews. I feel awful. I feel like nothing is happening, and yeah. So that's... You have to change your mentality in terms of Anki is not the way you learn the language. But Anki is there for you, for your brain to keep those words in your memory. And try to get through as fast as you possibly can through Anki, right? You can reduce, so if you are doing new words, stop taking in new words. I don't know, how much you have piled up in Anki. But stop doing new words and just do reviews. Take 2 weeks for it to reduce to something manageable. Try and do something that you enjoy as well, right? What it took for me to change my mindset and to actually understand what it will take to learn the language is stop doing Anki completely. I stopped doing Anki for 3 months. You can watch the video. I actually have video about that. And I've only learned through reading and listening. And while technically I would not really recommend doing it, it's a bit slower. If that is the only way you can learn, that's totally fine. So yeah, but otherwise, it is good to take a couple of days off if everything is too much, as long as you address why you're burning out. If you don't address it, there is no point in taking a couple of days off. You have to address that first. If that makes sense, I hope it does. If you're still confused, ask me to clarify something. I'd be happy to clarify. If it's not to do with Anki, tell me specifically what's causing the burnout, and I'll try and address that. So Rufi is saying, I'm getting quite unfamiliar words and hard kanji. I'm keep pressing again and again. Rufi, you're not getting hard kanji. Trust me, you're not. You'll meet hard kanji soon enough, but right now you're not meeting hard kanji yet. But Rufi, so pressing again and again is actually good. But you need to figure out how to recognize the kanji, right? So all right. Here is what I would recommend. here is what I would recommend. Here is what I do, basically. Here is what I do, and here is what I would recommend. There is a Anki extension, and I'm just trying to find it here. There we go. There is an Anki extension called Migaku Kanji God, right? There it is. There's a link for it. So you need to figure out how to set it up. But once you set it up, what will happen is this. Once you get a new card, there are videos, by the way, on how to set it up. Once you get a new vocab card, the extension will check if you know that kanji. If you do not, what it will do is pull that kanji and create a kanji card for you. It will have a breakdown of components of the kanji. It would have the meaning of the kanji. And it will have a little mnemonic, or actually a bunch, usually 5 by default mnemonic stories, to help you remember that kanji. That is good. That's how I am actually learning to read in Japanese. So what will happen is you will be encountering that kanji, and you will be encountering that kanji in the word and in context in your vocab cards. Unfortunately, what that does, that doubles your workload. It would introduce a lot of cards, kanji cards, together with your vocab cards. So that is something that you need to take into consideration. Maybe reduce your vocab part cards to 5 or something like that to begin with. So, yeah. All the things that I was talking about to Rizwan apply to you as well, Rufi. Spending 1 hour on 40 cards is way, way, way too long. All right? So remember when I talked about... was it yesterday or the day before? When I was saying, listen, you gotta, in order to memorize the card, don't learn cards from Anki. Use Anki as a refresher for you. Right? So, if you're using a pre-made deck, here's what you should be doing. You encounter the new card for the first time. You look at the word. You figure out what that word means, of course, so you would need to flip the card. And then you try to make that card your own, right? So, if the card is an object, like a cat, like a mobile phone, like a pen, whatever, instead of having a translation on the card in your language or English, erase that, go to Google and find yourself a picture of that object and search in Japanese. Don't search in English or your own language. Search in Japanese to make sure that this is the actual item that you're looking for. Copy that photo, picture, into the Anki card. All of a sudden, you're making the card your own. The actual physical act of you going and searching for that word in Google would create enough connections in your brain for the word to be much more memorable, and also for the kanji to also be much more memorable as well. All right? So, do that for new words, and you'll notice that all of the new words, it will take a little longer. It will take a little longer. But you will notice that the actual reviews of the words would be flying like this. As I said, do not spend more than 15 seconds on the word in Anki. that's pretty much it. It's better to fail the card 10 times, 20 times, goddamn. Fail it 20 times. But still, tomorrow it will come back again, and again, and again, until you start remembering it. View it as not learning the word, view it as reviewing the word. And of course, do supplement it with reading. Reading is important, and this is how you actually really cement all of this in your brain. Over the long term, of course. Right, I hope that makes sense. Ojesh is saying, thanks, I might start working Japanese than advanced English. Yesterday I learned a new word, neko. There you go, there you go. Okay, okay. Ojesh, to be fair, you know, if you want to learn Japanese, fantastic. Fantastic. But Japanese is much harder than English. So only do it if you have a big need or a big goal to learn it. If it's just for fun, of course, you know, double in it, but I wouldn't suspend learning English to learn Japanese unless you already have plans for Japanese specifically. So Tim Z, he's on Twitch, saying, I have sumo blogs, so I've picked up a little bits of Japanese here and there, but it's very specific to sumo. Of course it would be. Of course it would be, yeah, because if you're watching a lot of sumo, they would have a very specific terms there. And sumo, by the way, sumo is super cool. Do you do your blog in English, Tim? Oh, I mean, well, yeah, I mean, you could be doing it in another language, but because it's not in Japanese. Clearly, it's not in Japanese if you picked up a few Japanese words. But yeah. It's called Sumo Stomp. I'll look it up. Sumo Stomp. Yosh. Oh, it's a Substack. Ah, very cool. Oh, goddamn. You've been at it for a bit. Fair enough, man. Yeah, I'll check it out. For sure. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Unless Legends, you do have other questions. Let me know. If you want me to clarify anything about Anki, about burnout, about getting into it, etc., do let me know. Migi Yotsu from Hidari Yotsu. I don't know what Yotsu is, but this is Migi. Am I mirrored? I think I'm mirrored. Migi is right. Hidari is left. But yeah, I don't know what Yotsu is. I mean, if I had the kanji, I probably could have guessed, but unless that's like, no, I don't. Yeah. Yeah, no problem, Rufy. No problem at all, man. But yeah. A right arm inside position versus left arm. Yotsu's belt grapple. Ah, right. Okay. So that's what it is. Right. I gotcha. Interesting. There you go. Clearly, see, like, I do sometimes watch sumo, but I am not, like, super into it. So, like, when we were visiting Japan, Jesus Christ, a year and a half ago now, we went to an izakaya. We were looking for properties. And we went to outside of Tokyo, because we don't want to live in Tokyo. So, and we were staying there for a couple of days, and we went to a local izakaya. And it's like a tiny place, and while everywhere in Japan, or most places in Japan, at least big places, you're not allowed to smoke inside. That was one of those places that you're allowed to smoke inside, so I was not expecting that, and I don't smoke. But it was a tiny place, and it was very much kind of a Japanese sitting, so on tatami. or and counter. But to sit at the counter, you actually sit on the tatami, and your legs are going down. But super cool. But the point to the story is that they actually had a TV run-in with a sumo at the time. There was sumo matches at the time, and everybody was like really into it, and everybody was talking about it and cheering their favorites on, etc. So that was super cool. A super cool local kind of experience. So Rufi is saying, I learned Migi and Hidari from Hajime no Ippo. Boxer was keep saying that in the anime. Exactly, yeah. So you probably have, your left stance and the right stance, right? So yeah. Yeah, man, it was pretty cool. It was a pretty cool experience. I have been to the area where the sumo kind of stadium, the stables are. And we went to a restaurant that sumo people would go to eat. So we got, what was it? Oh god, I can't remember. Something like sumo nabe or something like that. I can't remember the actual name of it, but yeah. It was huge. It was, Jesus Christ. We ordered one for the two of us because it was so big. But chanko nabe, that's the one. Yeah. We're hoping to see some sumo people, and we have seen like apprentices, deshi, but nobody famous really, and they weren't really like coming in to the restaurant. They were just like walking by. But yeah, so one day I would actually like to go and see it live. That is like one of my bucket list things to do. Would really like to do that. Anyway, Legends, I think I am done for the day. So, thank you so much for joining me for this study session today. I do apologize, the session was cut short, but health comes first. So, I am hoping that the headache will go away for tomorrow, and we're going to have a fantastic session. So, for tomorrow we are streaming first thing in the morning. So, that is from 8 in the morning, GMT time. So British time, until noon, until 12 o'clock, so 4-hour stream. Fingers crossed, no headache, and we'll do the full stream. So Tim Z is saying, during the tournament, wrestlers will only have chicken meat in their chankos too, since in sumo you have to stay on 2 feet and chicken walk on 2 feet. Yes, and that is one of those cool things that I didn't know, but my wife was like, well, actually, did you know that this is why they're having? I'm like, oh, wow, that's super cool. Yeah. I completed your stream. Yes, Ojesh, you've finally done it. You've finally done it. Please take rest and feed the kitties. Yes. Well, the kitties are not hungry yet, but they will be hungry in 2 hours' time, so I will feed them then. Legends, thank you so much for being here, and I shall see, hopefully, all of you tomorrow. And have a fantastic rest of your day, and don't get headaches. I'll see you all tomorrow. Matashita. Ja ne. Bye-bye.